Hello everyone, how are we all doing today? Hope everyone's doing great. Now it's already here. This is the first round of Club 73, the Midweek Series this year. Feels like it was only just yesterday that the previous season had ended, but it's now February and the first round. Now before that we begin though, well, Daytona Milton Keynes, by the way, as well. This track is. But first of all, I also want to thank everyone for all the positive feedback and great comments from the previous video. I was so nervous about trying to commentate over my videos. I got so many nerves trying to do it, but so many people have given me positive feedback and I've been very positive about it, so thank you very much for that. Now, going into this race though, now we're all going out to do a qualifying. You can just see what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to warm up the tyres. Particularly with these karts, actually I noticed that these, with biz karts and soda karts at other tracks, when the tyres are cold, you can tell they're cold, but the karts are still very, very forgiving with cold tyres. But with these karts, these are Birrell N35s, I believe that this chassis is. The kart would be very, very snappy with cold tyres and almost like you're driving on a breezy track. So I was really trying for the first lap, just trying to warm up the tyres, getting ready for qualifying for the. Especially in the cold conditions. It was very, very cold that night. But anyway, warming the tyres and now going on my first qualifying lap, just trying to put out a banker lap, mainly just for qualifying. With this one, it was practice and qualifying. We only had 5 minutes to qualify. It was a practice, but also qualifying. This is essentially the first time we're out on the track. No, I slowly seemed to catch up to this person here, but I was not too worried whether I passed him or not. I mainly just wanted to get a bank lap in, just to make sure I had like a half decent lap already ready for qualifying. I do start to catch him up though, down the straight. I do end up overtaking him. Yeah, just trying to set the car up now. Coming towards the end of this lap to start a new lap and try and get a better lap in, a faster lap in essentially. That's what qualifying is, just set the fastest lap you can. Now, I did feel a little bit frustrated actually during qualifying because I didn't feel like I never really got a good proper lap in. On the couple of laps I did have clear air, I seemed to make a mistake during it, and but then there was some laps where I just didn't have clear air to make a good qualifying lap. But there's also laps where I was set up, get ready for a good qualifying lap, but then there'd be an incident somewhere, there'd be a yellow somewhere, so I couldn't really get the best of laps in, I felt like. And whenever I made a mistake, I would sacrifice that lap to set up ready for the next lap. But unfortunately, which I don't think was the best move for me, to be honest. It was only 5 minutes. I should have really just like set it up when I made a mistake and still treated it like a qualifying lap. But that's what happened in the end. In the end, after qualifying, I qualified 8th out of 30 drivers, I think. I think there's like 25, 30 drivers in this one. I could be wrong, but 8th is okay, somewhere sort of higher under the mid-pack. But I felt like I still had a little bit more in me in qualifying. I feel like I could have qualified a bit higher, but that's life. I qualified 8th, so. But that's qualified 8th. So after qualifying, we all lined up on the grid, ready to start the race. Now this is a 30-minute race. The lights are going on now. and we are starting now. We're going. Right. I seem to get an okay start. I was able to get a better start than around the left of me here. Now I braked a little bit earlier because I knew the tyres would be cold already, so I did lose a little bit of time there. Maybe I should have just kept my foot in anyway, but I knew I was just not sliding the tyres particularly, so I just sacrificed that corner to make sure I was able to come out of it properly. Now these guys on the left, they make a mistake. They tap each other a bit. They waste a bit of time. Then I was able to just about get it in the inside to overtake one guy. Now this guy, he seemed to get a bit more overspeed though, and be able to hold it around the outside around here, and yeah, just hold himself. I think someone just tried to stick their nose there as well, and sort of going into their head, but I was able to hold it. And so now I know I've already got one place, so I've got 7. I feel like at this point I can see the group ahead putting it away already, and I'm already thinking, okay, great, well, I need to catch up back to that pack, otherwise that pack is already going to pull away after only on one lap. And I wanted to be involved in that pack. But there's a kart 19 here at the moment, which I need to get past or work with to catch up with that group. Now, after the first lap, I already feel like I'm a little bit faster than him. And no, I feel like I need to get past him to catch up with the rest of the group. Now he does actually get a lot of, he gets a lot of kart then over on me on that chicane actually. I took it a bit too cautiously actually. I took it a bit cautiously just in case there still wasn't enough grip in the tyres, but clearly there was more grip in the tyres than I thought at this point now. But at this point I was just pushing as you would with woolly warmed up tyres, warmed up grippy sticky tyres, as the tyres felt good now and grippy. Now these karts actually, I do actually really like the handling of these karts actually. They've got a lot of grip, they handle really nicely, I love the turning, how they come out the corners. They're just good all round on the handling side of things. But anyway, I'm sort of trying my best to keep up with this car at the moment. I'm noticing actually like, sort of early on-ish that I seem to be quite good at keeping up with this guy and catch up with him around the corners, but he does seem to get a bit more overspeed than me down the straights. So I start already thinking actually maybe I'm a bit down on power compared to the rest of the group here. So I work with what I have and try and push as hard as I can. I feel like I'm better through the corners, and I kind of catch him in the corner, but it seems to be better down the straights. Now this guy actually in front of he pulls a lot already on me in the first sector here. So maybe it was actually better through the first sector than the other 2 sectors. But I'm already starting to get a bit frustrated because I feel like, okay, I do seem to catch him around the corners. I do seem to catch him in the corners to get more speed up the corners, but it seems to pull away a bit more down the straights. So I was thinking I was maybe lacking down on power actually throughout the majority of this. So I'm just thinking, okay, I need to. At this point, I'm already thinking, okay, I don't think I'm really going to be able to catch up to the car in front of here, or that group in front of me. I'm just going to have to be able to hold the position I'm in and just try and pull away from the pack behind so they can't make any moves on me. So I'm just sort of now just sort of thinking about how can I just driving as fast as just keeping the pace up, because despite maybe being down in power, I was still pulling away from the people behind me. So I had the cornering speed as just a straight line speed. I felt like I was lacking at the time. Now here's the thing though, actually. In this car, 32, I was already feeling like I was down in power, but actually, Anwar Bull-Smith and Ben Johnson had the same car as me in the next 2 races afterwards. Anwar was able to pull a second with it, and Ben Johnson was able to pull a third with it. So I was already thinking, like, I was starting to think, like, maybe it was me who was being slow or something. Or maybe I was doing something completely wrong with this car, actually. But then I got talking with Anwar, actually, at some point. And he mentioned, actually, these cars actually have a bit of a slightly different brake throttle cut-off system. So, like, in most rental cars, they have a sort of a throttle cut-off system. So if you're pressing the brake while trying to press the throttle, it will cut the throttle to help prevent damage to the car's clutch and engine and brake system, and just to prevent any damage, essentially, and prevent the driver from trying to overdrive the car. Now with bis karts and soda karts, usually that means the engine completely cuts off all throttle, so you don't. Yeah, so the engine cuts off all throttle, so there's no way to damage it. But actually, with these cars, they're a little bit different. Actually, if you have your foot on the brake, what these engine works do instead was essentially reduce the power a little bit rather than completely cut it. Now these cars' brake pedals, actually, like brake and throttle pedal, actually, you had to press them quite a lot before you got any throttle or you got any brake. So rather than me pulling my foot on the brake all the way, I was just sort of pulling it off enough so it would disengage the brake, but not all the way to completely off the pedal, because there's a lot of travel. But what I was doing, actually, but in doing so, what the conclusion was that actually that maybe I was actually putting my foot on the brake a little bit too much to sort of engage that anti-double pedal system that these cars have, and that's, and looking back at the footage, actually, I do think that maybe that's what I was doing. Maybe I noticed that in some cases it was actually my car was just as fast on the straights as other cars, and sometimes even faster. But then there's sometimes where I was completely losing time on other cars, so I was getting 2 or 3 car lengths by the end of the straights on other cars. So I think that's what's happening. And I'm really frustrated with myself with that, because I felt like I was actually quite fast and consistent around the corners. So I was essentially, throughout the entire race, was shooting myself on the foot. But it's really annoying. I feel like I could have done better. And it's thought that if you were doing something like that, you can lose half a second per lap. And looking at the lap times, I was on average about half a second per lap off the leaders. So I'm very frustrated with myself at that. I feel like if I wasn't doing that, I may have been able to back and possibly somewhere around the 3rd mark, plus or minus a couple of positions. But I feel like I'd be able to be up with that. But it is what it is. I made a mistake with that. It's very frustrating, but it's a mistake, and I learn from it. And something to really take away is that, like, it's always good to have a good race and win something, but sometimes it's good to have a bad race to learn from it. And in this case, I've learned that now from these karts at Daytona Milton Keynes. So now I know in future, next time if I go to Daytona Milton Keynes, I need to put my foot all the way off the brake so I don't engage that double pedal system. But anyway, as you can see, the car ahead is slow, just pulled away. He's made a massive gap. There's no way I'm really able to catch him now. I'm still pushing as hard as I can, just in case someone up front makes a mistake or spins out somewhere, or just like if anyone makes a mistake anywhere, I can I could take advantage of it and gain a position or two. Now, this is the first race of the season, so I'm not too worried about points right now, and it's just like, it's good to start off with with a good positions, good points, but there's still 9 other races for this championship, so there's no real worries yet in where I finish in this race. But 7th is still an okay position. It's a good, reasonable mid-pack position. I would have liked to have finished up higher, but 7th is okay. There's nothing to worry about really, and there's two rounds with drop points as well. So if this does turn out to be one of my worst ones, the points will be dropped anyway, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, nothing much else really actually happened throughout the race. I was pretty much left by myself at this point, just pushing as hard as I can, keeping the pace up, keeping the speed up, just trying to hold 7th place and hopefully be in a position that if someone ahead makes a mistake, spins or crashes, whatever, I can be in a position to take advantage of that and gain a position or two. We're on the last lap now, and yeah, not much else really changes from here. Just holding 7th and staying 7th. I've overtaken a fair few back markers. There's been a few yellows, but nothing much really changed beyond after the first 5-10 minutes of the race. It's just me on a position and just staying where I am. I believe at the end, Sam Esri was sort of starting to catch up and about 3.5 seconds off of me when we finished, which we are going to do now. We crossed the finish line now, and yay, finished 7th. Again, I feel like I could have done better, but that's the best I could have done at the moment. If I knew more about the whole the double pedal system, maybe I could have done better, but it is what it is, and I'm happy with what I have taken. And again, it's the first race of the season. There's loads of races to make up the points. But anyway, thank you very much though anyway. Yeah, again, thanks for all the feedback from the last one, but also I'd love some sort of feedback on this one as well. Good, bad, tell me what you loved, tell me what you hated. Tell me if you're actually enjoying me voicing over these races, or if you want me to shut up, tell me, Robin, shut up, I hate your voice, I don't blame you. But thank you very much though, thanks for watching. But yeah, thank you very much, and see you on the next one. Cheers.